Hey, this is Brother Luck from Colorado Springs. All right, you ready? Owner of 4 by Brother Luck and Lucky Dumplings. I mean, he's a very, very impressive man. And you're rocking with the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Take it, Brian.
Oh, we're right back with the little PB Love Company. I got to tell you, he's got is 5 different flavors of peanut butter?
We make 3 peanut butters and 2 almond butters currently.
Get right in.
Okay, yeah. Let me take a step back. Let me introduce. It's Mario Esparza.
Hello.
PB Love
Company.
Oh.
The PB Love Company, yes.
And, hey, listen, if there's peanut butter is something we all grew up with. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you didn't, it's sort of like baseball in America, I would think, quite honestly.
Or football in Texas.
Yeah, or football in Texas. It's, that's Friday night. High school football in Texas is one of the craziest things. But back onto our peanut butter. Love.
So here it is, Small Business Saturday, live from Studio Kitchen, Colorado. That's the voice of Brian Freeman. I'm Greg Hollenbeck, the whole cast and crew's here. And Mario's joining us with a really cool brand. When Small Business Saturday, we heard you were going to be on the show, we were like, this is a perfect fit.
Thank you.
Small business, man. I mean, truly, that's the heartbeat of America. That's something that we really relish here in Colorado. Denver, that's our hyper-local community. You've landed right here, small business. Here's little Mario running around. Did little Mario think you were going to be a small business owner?
I never did, but my dad has worked for himself since he was 18, so I always saw him, make the hustle happen. And I think that's certainly a place where I get a lot of my drive from.
I'm glad you said the word hustle. A lot of people take offense to the word hustle when it hustling. Yeah. A hustler. Someone it's just out there making it happen. Yeah, no. I'm not backing away from the word because I really like a hustle in somebody. And that just means that you care. You're out there hitting. Yeah. You're making sure that your dreams are in your hands and you're going to be the guide.
Well, from an athletic perspective, it means something different than from a con man perspective, okay?
What?
There's 2 perspectives, 2 lenses you could put on, when you look at a hustle. But I agree with you. Yeah. I'm all about life is about hustle. I mean, that is. It's about getting back up when you fall down. It's about just continuing to drive every day.
Yeah, sure. So I always say that folks that are in the hustle or entrepreneurs.
Or a hustler.
We're just unemployable. That's kind of
how a tough one to manage, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody would want me working for them, so it kind of took its own course for myself.
It does, yeah.
And I'm the best steward when it comes to my life and my path. But you seem perfectly employable, right?
Nice guy, I guess.
You're a nice guy.
I'm a good worker.
He's met you for half an hour. We're bonding. He's like, "Do you want a job?"
Yeah. So essentially, a lot of times products are born by necessity. Did you find a necessity with PB Love Company to where that was something that you needed to bring to, not wanted but needed to bring to market?
That's a good question. You talk about necessity. It wasn't a necessity to bring to market necessarily, but it was a necessity to my lifestyle. I've been making this stuff literally for almost 15 years. And the reason I started making it was to have something that was made out of real food that I ate every day. That before I learned what real food was and ate it every day, it just wasn't. It wasn't to the standard.
Okay, you mean like cottonseed oil,
So hold that point because I want to pivot back to it. The point that you were making there is something that was a necessity to your life. Mm-hmm. But here you are, and you're bringing it to market, and you're bringing it to build a business. Was this business something that, not just because you needed it with yourself, because you did a lot of personal transformations within your life, that brought this easier? You're like, a lot of times in life, you're like, if it's working for me, it'll probably work for somebody else too, right? The company itself, what are your offerings? And then we'll jump back to that point.
So our offerings, we produce handcrafted premium nut butters. We have 3 peanut butters, our salted peanut, which is our 2-time award winner, #1 seller. It's delicious. We're going to have that tonight. Our classic creamies, our pure peanut butter, our classic crunchy, my personal favorite. And then we have 2 almond butters, our smooth almond, which is our pure almond butter, and then our cinnamon almond, which is up for a Good Food Award in January, so wish us luck. It's also very popular. Our distribution is mainly direct to consumer. That's very important to me. I believe the PB Love experience is best provided by PB Love, not Whole Foods, not Vitamin Cottage, not, we don't do major grocery stores or major retailers. Our retail partners are small boutique specialty food, mainly local retailers.
Yeah.
We also do food service, so great places like Mercantile, Huckleberry Roasters, Root Down. They make incredible items with our products on their menu. They do a great job. And then back to the direct-to-consumer, we mainly sell online, farmers markets, and special events. So those are our offerings. We do subscriptions, which makes life very easy.
Mario, let me back up just a hair. Let me ask you, what makes it different? What's your why? You gave us a couple. You're using real ingredients. But go a little deeper on that.
Well,
I mean, it says stone ground peanut butter. That's got to be new, right?
The number one question I get asked is, well, why is yours different? And my answer is very simple. It's the taste. And the reason it tastes the way it does is because of the quality of the ingredients that we use. We use 100% real food to our food philosophy, right? And we stone grind. We use black granite. I mean, it's beautiful. No blades, no metal, no high heat. And just those two things make a big difference in what you get out of this jar. It's ridiculously delicious, and the reaction we get when people have had it for the first time, it's awesome. It's amazing. It makes you feel good. But that's what is different about PB Love is the taste.
Okay, well, I'm dying to taste it because I'll tell you, I liken myself to a little bit of a peanut butter connoisseur.
All right, almond butter, peanut butter.
For me, peanut all day.
Crunchy or creamy?
Crunchy.
Yeah, crunchy.
I go back there.
Why do I feel naughty with almond butter? Is that worse for you than peanut butter?
Oh, no.
It's another common question. No, let me tell you. Peanuts, almonds, both high in calories, both high in fat, both high in protein.
Uh-huh.
When people ask me about the difference health-wise, it's what your gut can manage the best.
But both
they're both great.
Okay, we both great, but both. So here's the, when I'm in full diet mode, like when I'm trying to bring things back right, and I want good foods and actually satisfy like a little. I don't know if it's a sweet tooth, but just I'll take a spoonful of peanut butter. Call it. You go, Greg. Go to bed.
Oh, babe, that's what I've been doing with my kids since they were little kids. That's how you do it, man. Unless you've got peanut allergies, and there's a whole thing that that's a whole
still
other
making
show.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Oh yeah, they do.
People are.
Oh, yeah. They do.
I got to get back into those because I think I'd like. As a kid, I thought I was.
I just made one last night.
As a kid, I thought I was being punished when I'd get a peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Not at all.
Maybe because it was Skippy, and I didn't.
No,
want
I have to cut the crust off these days for my one son. Yeah.
When I ask people how they eat, a lot of we call them PB lovers. They're our regular customers, our regular shoppers. When I ask them how do they eat PB Love, the number one answer is straight out of the jar.
Straight out of the jar?
Straight out of the jar.
Yeah.
And it is that good. We're a spoon-to-mouth concept. I learned that from Gary Hirschberg, if you know who Gary Hirschberg is, but from Stonyfield Farms.
Next segment, and it's going to be interesting. Next segment, we're going to come back. And I want to continue this with you, but we met you in an entrepreneurial class and the small business thing. So you monologued. You sat up there and lectured. I want to get a little taste of what that was like, and maybe we can just bounce it. Because during those types of lectures, I'm supposed to be quiet when I have a million questions. So I kind of want to be a lecturer, but I want to feed off of what that looks like because I want you to talk to other business folks out there.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's an interesting proposition to at least share. And that's what those classes are about, sharing stories, sharing experiences. And a lot of times in life, it's about pivoting, but taking feedback.
It is.
And knowing what feedback you should take because you know your brand the best.
Yes.
That's what's so interesting to me. Tonight, you're whipping up some stuff for us here in the kitchen.
I am.
If you take chocolate and put it with peanut butter, man, you have me.
You're going to fall in love.
That's it. Chocolate, peanut butter, put a little bit of white chocolate in there with oh my, that's it.
You're in heaven.
Oh, wait, white chocolate is different than chocolate.
Do you make any of that stuff?
We make the 3 flavors of peanut butter I mentioned and the 2 almond butters. But as we grow and we have more of the ability to add to our SKU,
Portfolio.
our flavors, yes, Yeah, we have some pretty fun ideas coming up. And with other nuts like cashews, pecans, there is a chocolate product that
is on the way.
I hope
it's
so.
in R&D.
It's in R&D.
Let me tell you one thing I'm really excited about is PB Love Doggy Dip.
Uh-oh.
I mean, and we're in Denver, right? Everybody has a dog. And it's literally peanut butter biscuits made with PB Love, which you dunk in our creamy peanut butter, and you just feed it to your dog.
I'm glad it came up that way, because I was wondering when the first person would say something about a dog and peanut butter. I didn't know what it would be, but I'm glad it's a dog biscuit.
Yeah.
That's it. Here's what I don't even know what that means.
Sure you don't.
Here's what we're doing live on Facebook. We want to do this. Anybody that's watching us right now, and if you're on a Facebook stream, you're streaming live on YouTube as well, Periscope, Twitter, whole 9 yards, iHeartRadio as well. Jump on over to our Facebook page, because we're asking a question. Tell us your small business, and we'll mention it.
It's Field Guide right here. Field Guide IT, helping small businesses.
Nicole Baumgart. Hello. Field Guide IT. We help businesses large and small with all technology needs. We're a small team of 6 based out of Rhino. Fantastic. Nicole, get a hold of us. We'd love to feature you on the Modern Eater Show. That's fantastic. If you have a business and you want a shout out, just hit us up on our Facebook Live page. In the meantime and in between time, why not, Brian? Let's take a break. Small Business Saturday, live from Studio Kitchen, Colorado. The beer sign's not lit. I knew something was wrong. Light the beer sign.
Light it up, baby.
We'll get it going. All right, bring it up here in the kitchen. We'll take a break, come right back, and continue with Mario Esparza, PB Love Company, right here on the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Well, Greg, our first segment on the best show ever. We're going to make it happen. And to do that, I brought up my new friends from Simoes Brewing. You see it right there, right there. I've got Alex and James, correct?
Yep.
Why did you get into brewing?
We really love the community. We want to make a community-focused space where people can come and hang out and talk and play games and drink really great beer.
If a person doesn't drink, can they still go?
Yeah, that's actually kind of one of our focuses is we're going to have some non-alcoholic options. We've brought our ginger beer today from James's current project.
Awesome.
We're also planning to have coffee and tea.
Oh, I'm going to try some of that. Well, they're going to be coming up later. You're going to learn way more about them towards the end of the show. We're kind of giving you a little teaser. But again, Simoes Brewing. It doesn't get any better than that. I got to try some of this ginger beer.
I recommend it.
Oh, my gosh. No, we're going to have some of that here pretty soon. Thanks for coming down tonight, guys. This is going to be a blast. What do you think so far?
It's fun.
This has been a kick.
It's kind of what's like, what is going on? And now you're finding out, you're diving in. We pushed you right into the deep end. Hey, we're going to be right back.
Go out to eat, I not only want to eat delicious food and drinks, but I also want to eat where I know my money is going to a local restaurant that I believe in. I believe in the Goods restaurant on Colfax and Mark Whistler. The Goods is a community restaurant and bar with a menu focusing on vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, and keto options. Comfort food lovers, try the best burger on planet Earth. I love it. 8 ounces of grass-fed beef and never, ever any hormones, antibiotics, or steroids. The Goods is truly a cultural melting pot, a family restaurant open to all. Their bar program is amazing. Saddle up at their long, luxurious bar, have a nice craft beer or a cocktail. Like their Facebook page and stay up on amazing events and specials going on throughout the week. Located on East Colfax, directly connected to the Tattered Cover Bookstore, across from East High School with free parking and a garage in back. Look them up online, thegoodsrestaurant.com. I'll see you at the Goods.
Want to bake the best? Bake with the best. Little Rich.
30 seconds until our live read.
Modern Eater. Our wraps fold cold and
30 seconds.
Open, yet they're soft and delicious. What's my secret? Ardent Mills. Organic, ancient, and heirloom grains like quinoa, spelt, and more. Locally headquartered
20.
Colorado. Ardent Mills provides the industry's broadest range of traditional and organic flours, whole grains, customized blends, and specialty products dedicated to
10 seconds.
culinary industry with the next grains and unique plant-based ingredients. I love Ardent
this is
Mills,
fun.
and I know you will too. To bake the best, you must. Mills.com.
Back to the show in just a second, you guys. But before we do that, we're going to talk bread, and we're having some peanut butter tonight. I tried to get some bread, didn't work out, so Mario's going to make some pancakes and some oatmeal. But Aspen Baking Company and aspenbaking.com is where you want to go for no preservatives, no artificial coloring, no chemicals of any kind, which I know Mario can appreciate because he doesn't like the junk. We don't either. It's Aspen Baking. They've got hoagies, focaccias, ciabattas, baguettes, croissants, bear claws, lobster rolls, pound cakes, coffee cakes, and more. And if you own a business and you want to treat your employees to something nice, we suggest the boxed lunches. They do boxed lunches that are delicious. They've got Rome's meat in there. So Aspen Baking is where you want to go. I'm going to say the website.
How about the holidays, Jay? Because I think that's very important, especially right now. The people like me who go places for holidays, they say bring something with you. Mm-hmm. Bring Aspen Baking with you. You'll be a hit of the party.
Yeah, nice focaccia.
Oh, my goodness. Bring some fresh bread on Aspen with Aspen Baking.
A loaf? Just show up with a beautiful,
you'll be the hit of the party.
Buttery, sugary, and gluten loaf.
Yeah, and if you want to order, how can you do it?
You go to aspenbaking.com. So, so that's it. That's alive. We're going to be we're back to Mario. It's aspenbaking.com.
I love it. Thanks, Jay.
Michael Myers from Distillery 291. I'll say whatever you want me to say. That'll get me in trouble. Write it like you stole it. Drink it like you own it. You're listening to The Modern Eater on iHeartRadio.
This is fun.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
eat it like it's peanut butter.
Hell yeah. Eat it like it's peanut butter.
Why not? Let's get it going. Back
He's
at
been
it.
waiting. He's got all these
Studio
things.
Kitchen. I like it, and I love small business people. And please, everybody that's out there, if you're on Facebook right now, drop us the name of your small business. We'd love to mention it for you. And coming in tonight is Mario Esparza, PB Love Company. We met this gentleman, and he was lecturing to us about small businesses. We learned a lot. We thought you'd appreciate it, too, so we brought him to the kitchen. It took a year, but it happened. Here's what we want to do. So you talked to us about this great brand that means so much to you, but other people out there, their brands mean a lot to them. You like to speak to folks about entrepreneurship and business itself. Where do you begin with that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Values. I think that's where you begin.
Can I start off with where I would begin?
Sure.
And we'll just bounce back and forth, all of us. Figure out if you have a good idea.
You don't figure out until you're good at your idea is not good until you start it.
Maybe I should have formed my question that way. How do you know you have a good idea?
When people put our product in their mouths, their reaction, they're so happy. And to be quite honest, our PB Love's purpose is to feed people real delicious food and spread smiles. If we can do that continuously, consistently.
Mario, what do you do when you hear somebody's idea that they have for a business, right? It's in gestation, and you're like, don't do it. What do you do?
I would never say that to somebody, honestly.
Really? Because I would. I would say I implore you never to go down that road.
Why don't you always ask it in a question, though? Is like, what problem are you solving?
No, I would say I forbid
that's where I go
to come out with that product. Save your life, save what you're doing, because a lot of people have a lot of half-cocked ideas.
Are you familiar with the speech from Theodore Roosevelt back in 1910, and he talks about the failure of a man. And long story short, he says, basically, you would rather fail and try because you figured out that you couldn't do it,
Mario,
instead of not trying.
I'm glad you're on my side on this, Mario, because listen,
money.
Listen, I know it does, but and
Richie,
there might be something good that comes out of that as well. Listen, I've sat with a company and I've said, you guys, you're going into a space that is so crowded, people pay for that, and you're thinking people are going to beg for you to have their product. And that's not how it works.
If you're just joining us at Small Business Saturday, we have Mario Esparza on with us, PB Love Company. Little Rich Schneider, you don't need to be any smaller. Little Rich is going to join us. Rockalitas Tortillas, we're talking about company. And how do you know you have a good idea? Or what do you do when you hear somebody pitching their idea and you're like, oh, man, I see it coming a million miles away. Don't do it.
Sometimes I think the best thing is to be brutally honest with somebody, because if you're just in the business of blowing sunshine up someone's rear end.
Yeah. But is that an opinion? And should you take someone off their course?
That's
where it's very, very delicate, right, Mario?
Give them an objective view of here's what's going on. Here's the reality of it. Because their view of what they're doing may be from a certain perspective, maybe not as high altitude.
Yep.
And as you've taken your bumps and bruises along the way,
do your research.
You're like, okay, look, here's kind of what problems you're going to have down the road.
I like people to punch holes in my ideas, truly, because I'd like to be able to come back with an answer or how I would handle something. Yeah. But let's go into this realm, pivoting. You're in your business. You see that there's potential. Mm-hmm. You're doing what you want to do. But maybe it was somebody like you, Mario, who says, I don't want to get into retail. I need to pivot and go direct, right? Mm-hmm. Those are very real things that pivoting makes an entrepreneur or a business person very malleable, I would want to say, to where the climate of which you're in and whatever your mind believes the direction of your business should go, you should be able to pivot. Brian, how many times have you pivoted throughout your career?
You have to be malleable, I think, sometimes in business. Mm-hmm. Although I will say I was at a business in California recently, and they do one thing.
And they do it well.
And and in a space, and this is making me think, and this is a shout out to everyone who's thinking about starting a small business. And so my kids begged me to go to In-N-Out. Okay. Guess what In-N-Out doesn't do? Chicken sandwiches. Guess what they'll say don't do? Salads. Nothing.
Yeah.
That you're seeing, look at all these other small, in a crowded space. I mean, come on now. There's 20 fast food restaurants in the next 5 miles on Federal here.
You know, Brian, what somebody told me the other day, he's a fascinating man. His name's Dan Fogarty.
Yes, I love him.
Yes,
ad agency guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he said, build off simplicity.
Yep.
We started with something simple, and we're building off that. And you can get sidetracked very easily.
Yeah, because I want you making peanut butter.
Yeah, cups. Right. And there's also the side of listening to your customers and the people who are keeping you in business. Mm-hmm. Do you give them what they want? And if you decide to take that on, how do you do that efficiently? Mm-hmm. There's also, you talk about being malleable or pivoting.
Yep.
I think problem solving is also pivoting. If something is not working, if a flavor for us particularly doesn't have, good sales, or a SKU is not, it makes inefficiencies in the production line. Do we get rid of it, and how do we figure that out?
Make it go away.
Yeah. And I saw some old friends, some old regulars at the old restaurant I used to work at, and they, how are you? How's PB Love? I said, I write checks and solve problems.
Yeah.
And, I'm joking, but it's real. That's what we do as an entrepreneur.
If you're looking at business as 100% share, there's two ends of the spectrum. A 20% share of that 100% that you're absolutely sure. Another 20% is that this needs to go away. Mm-hmm. You've got that middle percent of 60% that's where you need to spend your time, is on that 60%, and start putting in the bucket of I'm sure or I'm not sure. Right away, that 60% is what you need to address. Little Rich, I want to go to you because Raquelitas Tortillas is an amazing company that had to take those pivot points along the way. You decided at one point in time you wanted to be a boutique specialty tortilla company.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why?
Absolutely. Well, our thing is funny as you're talking about the percentages. Our thing is really we're making products geared for that 20% that are the hardcore chefs. That other 80%, we have recognized that there are plenty of people making product for those 80%. So we focus on the 20. And then sometimes, even within that, you have to do some gut-wrenching decisions. And here's an example.
Yeah.
I spent 3 years creating a gluten-free wrap. Put it out in the market. I had it all over the United States. I don't know retail. I had to learn, and I had to take my beatings. I do not know retail. I know food service, but I do not know the grocery business. It was becoming very apparent to us that in the gluten-free tortilla war, we did not win it. We lost the war. And so it was
going back to Mario.
So I was
like simplicity.
Yeah. So I was just like, well, we needed to kill that line, and it was hard because 4 years of traveling and doing all these things, but we had to bite the bullet. And so we had to look at what are we great at doing, What do we like to do? And let's just stay in that lane.
Go ahead.
I would also say, somebody else taught me this many, many years ago, and I love saying this. The nature of great things takes time. I met this guy 10 years ago. I remember this guy, it's been a long time. And touring his facility, listening to him talk, seeing his employees. I mean, it was just like, oh my God.
It inspires others.
I get to do this.
Right. Okay, great. That sets up the segue.
Time.
Segue. We'll start with Brian.
I want to hear this, though, because I've got to. I'm really interested. There's a piece to this that I'm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What I want to do is I want to do a round robin, right? Okay. So the darkest of days, because they happen. They happen to where, do I give it up? Do I go back to just, I want security. I want that every couple of week paycheck. I want health insurance. What's that? Payroll, paying yourself. What's that? There comes to a point into a time of year where the sacrifice that I'm making for something that I believe in the business. What do you say, Brian Freeman, anybody out there, small business entrepreneur, really believes in their product, they're having a hard time. They need a boost. What do you say?
I would really say dig deep. It's always about showing up every single day. And there's never been for me ever this thought of another day wouldn't exist, because I knew that I needed to get right back in there. That I was like, okay, I'm going to go get a reset. It might be 3-4 hours, but I'm going to get a reset. And then I'm going to come right back out.
You're going to be surprised what I have to say.
Yeah. So,
Mario?
Whenever I feel like quitting, I have to remember, why did I start this? Why did I sign up for this? If you go back to that why, you go back to that value system, and it's a long time. I've been making this stuff for a long time. I've had the opportunity to be around a lot of amazing, impactful entrepreneurs who have done some great things. And what I learned was, well, why did you do this? And you go back, okay, I'm having a hard day. Why did I do this? You answer that question for yourself. It really does help you. All right, this is why I'm here. This is why they're here.
Reset. Almost write those things down. So that
write them down.
Reiterate.
Tell people about them.
Well, it's come up with your mission statement, and your mission statement should be that why. I believe every day, Mario, is what I look at when I come in the building is this is my why, and I keep beating that damn drum.
Little Rich.
Woo! I'm going to think way back to like the 80s. We were in a real dark spot, and our biggest customer had just left us, and we could see no way really of making it. And basically, I just hit the streets. I learned perseverance. If you're going to say no, if they're going to say no to me, that's okay. I'm just going to keep going. I mean, I remember parking outside of restaurants in Frisco waiting for their shift to stop, and finally I could sample tortilla chips to them at midnight.
Hustler.
But there was no way we had to do it. And you just find a way. You just have to find a way to do it.
Yep. Hit that clip right there. Mine's completely different because I am a big believer in the power of quitting. There's something to saying,
learning failure.
I am somebody that is an entrepreneur by spirit. I will try many, many things, and I'm not afraid to put something down and go forward with something else. Learn the power of quitting. There's a Freakonomics podcast that's out there that I would implore everybody to tune into. Take a look. Just Google it. It talks about your sweat equity that you put into something versus your potential equity. Your potential equity is very big. Your potential equity is something that you need to believe in with inside of yourself. If quitting something means leading you to a different road, a different path, something that you can really hunker down into to when you've already exhausted every avenue that you're doing, listen to these gentlemen first. But when you're at that point, the power of quitting can be very powerful for you. That's entrepreneurship.
I'm going to head to the table.
Do it. I love it.
I love who you've got on, folks.
Small Business Saturday.
Tune in.
I'm not quitting.
Right
You're not quitting. We're not quitting. But I'll tell
here.
you what, sometimes that's a road you need to consider, and it can bring you to a better road in the future. And I'd appreciate if
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about his quitting thing. I know where he's coming from. I know where it's coming from.
I saved a lot of my life by doing that. I saved a lot of Mario. Give me my. Give me
Hey,
that
man,
hand.
thanks for having
There
me.
he is.
Yeah, this
Mario
is fun.
Esparza.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you.
I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
man.
I love it.
Hey, listen,
hardest working. Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick, Mario's going to be cooking up some pancakes and some stuff after his interview because we didn't have enough time. So if you're watching and you're like, man, what's up with the pancakes? They're coming.
Thank you, Jim.
Nice.
Appreciate
well,
it.
and if you're waiting to eat the pancakes. But tell us who's coming on during the break.
When I think of Denver and I think of entrepreneurship and I think of growing and just gut-wrenching, just fighting it out, I think of Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions. Tony Roberts up here next, and I think Chris Webb's in the house too. Chris Webb's going to join us as well. We're going to take a break, come right back to In the Kitchen. These gentlemen are great. They'll be next on the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.